And welcome back. Urban Yoga Foundation is a not-for-profit organization educating and empowering communities to be proactive about issues affecting their health. Now, for over 20 years, the organization has served more than 600,000 people across the globe by designing programs providing mindful and integrative wellness tools. And we've got sharing with us information, the CEO of Urban Yoga Foundation, Ghylian Bell. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And so having this conversation, it's not just about yoga, but it's more to it than just that, right?
Yes, it is.
Take it away.
I appreciate you saying that and starting there. When I started this organization, it was actually just to create a bond with me and my daughter. As a single mother, I needed something I didn't have to pay for to connect with her. And yoga, which is actually an integration of mindfulness throughout, was that practice. And learning about this practice of yoga, which actually means to unite, to come together. So imagine relearning, just like we're doing now about a lot of things in history, understanding the history of yoga. And I teach that through history. I teach yoga as developing from Africa with angles, sacred geometry, coming from Kush, and the movement out of Africa to Indus Kush, Hatha Vinyasa. And the other side of that Afro-Asiatic plane is Tao, Muay Thai, Tai Chi, Qigong. And on the top of that, Yucatan, Mexican, Mayan wisdom, Native American wisdom. So I teach that all these cultures actually have the energy and the vibration of what yoga stands for, the mindfulness, the integrative wellness, the movement of the body and the mind. And it separates itself from what most have thought yoga to be, connected to a religious purpose or anything like that. There are a lot of spiritual aspects to the practice when you're involved in it, but it is a practice for the people. And actually, urban yoga calls the practice the people's practice for that reason,
Yeah.
that we are reclaiming indigenous ways, indigenous ideologies, relearning history, and identifying how much of a part culture and community land in the practice of
Yeah.
the interest of yoga.
So when we talk about mindfulness, right, I think that's important as we go about day to day and really self-care. It's a part of self-care, but sometimes it goes very neglected.
You are completely correct. I lost a little bit of your sound, but I heard, I'm alluding to what
Oh,
you're saying. Hear me?
I'll bring it back again. And I said, when we talk about mindfulness, right, and it's really a part of self-care because when we're talking about really taking care of ourselves, you can't take care of yourself and not really deal with the mind too.
You're 100%. So you've done this work before, right? So you wake up in the morning, right? We talk about, I know you have, because you've explained it so well. Self care is self love, is self efficacy, right? So every day, people have a different need to address in their bodies. And what mindfulness does is helps you become aware, just gentle awareness. Like, what is my body feeling now? What do I need at this moment? And that practice changes daily, right? It changes moment by moment. So, the idea of integrated wellness and mindfulness and yoga is to identify what is speaking to you right now. Am I with my breath? Am I holding my breath? What's going on my lower back? How are my shoulders feeling? Maybe I need to do a shoulder roll. And just doing that, I adjusted my spine just now. But I felt that,
Hmm.
unless you heard it. It's a personal journey. But what mindfulness and yoga does, it's integrated systems and tools of wellness. So self care, mindfulness, um, allowing your body to use whatever tools that you need to get you in the present moment, in a present state, to then identify what the next step is instead of just reacting, but having an action plan of what you can do to ease dis-ease.
Ghylian Bell is joining us now. She's the CEO of the Urban Yoga Foundation and talking about some of the work that goes on there. Talk about feeding. We've been talking about feeding last couple shows, but talk to me about nutrition because it's very healthy, and it's also a part of really creating that safe temple and that safe mind. So you do have nutrition programs as well, correct?
Yes, well, it's all about mindfulness, right? So there's no, when you think about the whole self, there's all aspects of that. You know, what's my gut saying, right? The gut is our system of wellness. And I say this to people all the time. Nutrition is the most important thing, but mindfulness and moving the body, it's like living on love. There's something that's supportive that the body finds to do what it needs to do anyway. And I say this because I think of our ancestors and I think of how we had enslaved people, sharecroppers eating crap, right? They weren't eating the best foods, um, but they were out in the sun every day. They were moving their bodies. They were detoxing what their bodies did not need so that the vitamins and the minerals from the earth gathered in the feet, right? You had bare feet on earth. They were getting their minerals. The body is an amazing system. We don't do the kinds of things like that anymore. We're not in the sun getting vitamin D, which is actually the regulator for all the other things that we need our bodies to work on. B, C, like A, they need the D vitamin. And we don't get the sun like we need to get the sun. So we don't have the same capacity of that nutrition. We're not walking barefoot on the earth in soil that is nutritious anymore, right? The soil has been depleted, right? So we're not getting these things the same way. We need nutrition. We need nutrition that has no GMOs, that is organic. When I was growing up, my grandmother who was a part of the Great Migration, we had a backyard, a garden. She grew watermelon, snap peas, you know, tomatoes. Everything came from our garden. We don't really have that anymore. We need to get back to growing our own food, having agency with what we're putting in our bodies so the body can recognize what it is that we need. Just mindfulness. Like, what is this? Food is medicine. We say that came from Hippocrates, but actually, Hippocrates learned from Imhotep. Imhotep was an amazing physician, polymath, genius. And this radical sense of education through health, this wisdom of us identifying where it came from is a part of what we digest. It's a part of the food that we need.
Yeah. Well, Ghylian Bell, it's been great talking to you. Certainly, for people who want more information, I'm getting ready to give them the information on how to reach out to you. But thank you for giving us some insight and the work that you're doing at the Urban Yoga Foundation.
Thank you so much. Good to share space.
All righty. Well, for more information, you can visit the website at urbanyogafoundation.org and then follow them on Facebook at Urban Yoga Foundation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.